I've never had it easy in WWE. I've had injuries. I was released twice, and just when I had scratched and clawed my way to the top, my in-ring career was over. I could have sat at home, satisfied with what I accomplished, but I decided that's not how I wanted my story to end. I wanted to show myself, my family, and anyone who's gone through adversity in life that you need to take on whatever challenges you face and fight for your dreams.
Well, we might as well get on the Daniel Bryan bandwagon.
The Miracle Kid! The Miracle Kid! 77,000 chanting in unison. Yes, yes, yes.
Right after I graduated high school, I moved from Washington down to Texas to train at Shawn Michaels School. It wasn't too long after that I was signed by WWE. When I first got signed by WWE in 2000, I had no idea really what to expect. Most of the guys on TV had been wrestling for years and years, and at that point I'd only been wrestling for 6 months. Since I was still really new to all this, I was sent to hone my craft at WWE's developmental territory, which at the time was in Memphis. Luckily, William Regal was a trainer there, and he helped me out a lot. So with the WWE contract and Hall of Fame trainers, Bryan Danielson was on the fast track to success, right? No, not quite. I was released in 2001, the first time I was released by WWE. It was really hard actually because I really didn't know what to do. William Regal told me this is a chance to learn. This is a chance to go travel the world, find who you are as a wrestler and find who you are as a person. So I went back to the Indies and touring in Japan. But soon after that, in 2003, Bryan Danielson made his triumphant return to WWE. Well, sort of.
Bryan Danielson from Aberdeen, Washington.
I returned for some one-off matches on WWE's weekend shows, Sunday Night Heat and Velocity.
I like this kid. Look at that. Nice monkey flip. Well, you know, this Bryan Danielson is a very accomplished young man. We've seen him in the past, and he's very, very good.
I didn't really have a goal other than it was good exposure on TV. And one of these matches happened to be against a young up-and-comer named John Cena. Surely this would be my big break, right? A lot of guys would have parlayed competitive matches on Heat and Velocity into being signed full-time to WWE, but that's not how things turned out. It's like my wife Bray likes to say, if anything was easy for me, I wouldn't be Daniel Bryan. But before I could become Daniel Bryan, I was Bryan Danielson. And as Bryan Danielson, I went on quite the run through the Indies. Over the course of 7 years, I won my first world championship and had some amazing matches against guys who went on to become major WWE superstars. Guys like Seth Rollins, Cesaro, all sorts of guys all over the place. A lot of hardcore fans even say these were some of the best matches of my career. Personally, I credit these matches and opponents for helping me build the foundation I would later need to make it as a WWE superstar. Fans on the indie scene weren't the only ones who took notice, because in 2010, WWE re-signed me and Daniel Bryan was officially born.
My name is Daniel Bryan. I've been wrestling all over the world, and finally, I have an opportunity here in the WWE.
Although much like childbirth, as I've heard from my wife, this was also a somewhat painful experience. I came back as part of NXT, which wasn't like the NXT that you know and love today. At the time, NXT was a reality show with rookies and pro mentors. Unfortunately, my pro was The Miz.
People will say that you're great, that you're a star, that you're ready for the WWE. Do you think you're ready?
Yes I do.
Well, one thing you have to learn about the WWE is you have to expect anything.
I guess in Miz's mind, beating a little bit of respect into his NXT rookie.
Believe it or not, we didn't get along very well back then either. I think the most ridiculous thing we had to do in NXT was the obstacle course. Okay, so you're gonna do the monkey bars. Then we go in the ring and juggle. juggle. Then you're gonna see how fast you can drink soda. Side note, it was actually supposed to be a hot dog eating contest. When they realized I was vegan and they didn't have any vegan hot dogs, they turned it into a soda drinking contest.
I didn't know vegans could drink soda.
Not drink at all.
I hadn't drank any soda in years. Think, watching that on TV, a grown man just drinking soda from a cup. That's it. Despite that, I did have the tremendous opportunity to show the WWE Universe what I was capable of when I got to face the World Heavyweight Champion, Chris Jericho. I loved watching Chris Jericho from the time I was in high school, the stuff that he did in WCW, being able to go against the World Champion on NXT on the first show. Win, lose, or draw, that elevates you, and I was very thankful for that opportunity. You would think a high-profile match with the World Heavyweight Champion would solidify my status in WWE, right? Nope. Just a few months later, I was released. For those of you keeping track at home, this was the second time I was released by WWE. I thought this time I might be done with WWE for good. But not long after my release, I returned at Summerslam. When WWE called me, they said, hey, if you want to come back, that's for the main event of SummerSlam. Main eventing SummerSlam, it's just super cool. Old school pay-per-views still holds special meaning. Not long after SummerSlam, my strained relationship with The Miz picked up right where it left off.
Let me tell you something. I'm the pro. I am the talent.
The Miz is almost a perfect adversary for me because we are so polar opposite. The one thing I do respect about Miz, he works very, very hard.
You and me, U.S. Championship match. Yes or no? Yes.
We had our first match against each other at Night of Champions 2010 for the United States title. After I defeated The Miz, my WWE career really started to take off. I won the Money in the Bank briefcase and then cashed it in to beat The Big Show for my first World Heavyweight Championship.
Can you believe it? Bryan is the new World Heavyweight Champion.
But for every step forward, it seemed like I took 2 steps back. One was pretty big. When at Wrestlemania in 2012, I lost the world title in just 18 seconds.
Oh man! A rope kick by Sheamus! Oh my God! Sheamus is the world champion! That may be one of the fastest title changes in the history of WrestleMania!
After that, I was angry and wanted to blame a lot of people for my failure. But it actually led to one of the most enjoyable times of my career.
Bryan's forced to go to anger management with that man.
No!
I formed an unlikely partnership with Kane.
Shut your mouth right now.
The devil's favorite demon is nothing without the world's toughest vegan! No! 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 No!
Kane is one of my favorite people. We almost have the same sense of humor.
Bryan and Kane hugging out tonight. This is the most awkward and weird thing I've ever seen. There we go, yes, they hugged it out. Anger management, I believe, has been a success.
We just had a lot of fun.
We watch each other's back. Team Hell No style.
We had our first shot at the Tag Team Championships when we faced Kofi Kingston and R-Truth at Night of Champions in 2012. Team Hell No had a great run, but like most tag teams, Kane and I eventually went our separate ways, and I returned to pursuing my goal of winning singles titles.
I need to win the WWE Championship.
It was around this time I had a series of matches with Randy Orton that would have a much greater effect on my career than I could ever imagine. I put a lot of pressure on myself during this because Randy was really the first real top guy that I had a rivalry with. If I could do well with Randy, that puts you even to another level. I felt I had a lot to prove, which led to some very hard-hitting and physical contests. I got pretty banged up, but I was determined to fight through it and not let it slow me down. So much so that I went on to face Randy Orton in a street fight rematch on Raw.
It is now time for me to tell you whom I've selected to compete against me for the WWE Championship at Summerslam.
After my series of matches with Randy Orton, I really started gaining momentum, and both the WWE Universe and Superstars took notice. One of those superstars was none other than my former Velocity opponent, John Cena.
I select Daniel Bryan.
We've both obviously come a long way since that match, but John was on another level.
John Cena is an 11-time WWE Champion.
This was my chance to really prove I belonged in the main event picture on a major show like SummerSlam.
And the question is, for Daniel Bryan tonight, will he become the next John Cena or the first Daniel Bryan?
We even had Triple H as our special guest referee. What could possibly go wrong? I won the WWE Championship that night, but yet again, it was one step forward, 2 steps back. Triple H and Randy Orton teamed up to take the title away from me right after the match.
Randy Orton has cashed in Money in the Bank!
I was champion for all of about 4 minutes, which I've been told ranks among the top 5 shortest title reigns ever, so at least I have that to be proud of. Next chapter was all about facing adversity, which, as you know, I had plenty of experience with up until this point. Week after week, I was up against the Authority, who were doubting my abilities and saying I wasn't worthy of being champion, which really hit close to home.
I need to manage your expectations. Daniel, you might not be an A, but you are a B+.
My former trainer, Shawn Michaels, even joined in on the fun.
Oh, what a sweet chin music!
This was also the beginning of the Yes Movement. The chant had been around for a while, but now it carried more weight as a way for the WWE Universe to unite and express their displeasure with how it was being treated. So I started doing this thing, and other people started doing it, and then they start using it for their own things in something that's completely non-related to me.
Yes! Yes! Yes!
So long after I'm done with this and retired, people may still be doing this for things that they're excited about, or to show that they want change, and I just think that that's really cool. But after a while, I could only take so much. I even got to a point where I felt the Yes Movement wasn't going to be enough to overcome the obstruction I faced. Maybe they were right. Maybe I was just a B+ player. So I said, what the hell, and joined the Wyatt family.
I want you to open your eyes! This is the end. I'm yours. Let me join the family.
It was actually a lot of fun being with the Wyatts. Plus, it was kind of a no-brainer since I already had the beard. Fortunately, my alliance with the Wyatt family was short-lived.
Daniel Bryan shedding the Wyatt skin!
I turned my attention back to fighting for my dreams and becoming WWE Champion again. Unfortunately, the people in charge had other plans, like not even giving me a chance to compete in that year's Royal Rumble match. So it came down to taking matters into my own hands, along with the help of the WWE Universe and the Yes Movement, of course. This led to the night we occupied Raw, one of the highlights of my WWE career.
We are not leaving until we get what we want. And Hunter, you know exactly what we want. A match between you and me at WrestleMania 30. If I beat you, I get added to the WWE World Heavyweight Championship match.
You get all of it. You get me. You get your deal. And I am going to end this at WrestleMania.
Now, I had an opportunity at WrestleMania, and that's all I ever really wanted. Just a chance to show my peers and the world how great I could be on the grandest stage of them all. Not only once, but potentially twice.
Bryan lands on his feet. Out of the corner. Running knee! Running knee! Can Daniel Bryan do it? Can he do it? Yes! 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 Yes!
I've never had any concerns or doubts about wrestling more than once.
One of the biggest upsets in WrestleMania history. Daniel Bryan has stunned the world. Oh, Triple H from behind.
So after the first match, I was backstage. And I just spent most of the time trying to get my body warmed up to go out there again.
There's no way that he can be 100% for this match. The kid's got guts.
If there's three things that I have that you would say, what are your best attributes? Legs, lungs, heart. And I never get tired. WrestleMania 30 was truly a night I will never forget.
Batista! Batista's gonna tap! He did it! He did it! The impossible dream has become reality!
This was a show that people came to wanting to see Daniel Bryan win.
Tonight marked one of the most incredible performances in the history of WrestleMania!
I felt like I was an integral part of this show and not just winning the championship. To have my family there and my friend Connor Mahalik just really put it over the top. I still vividly remember after the match I go out there and hug Connor. When I think of WrestleMania 30, it really put into perspective any challenges I had, and also made me appreciate the platform I could use to inspire kids like Connor to continue to fight through some pretty serious adversity, just by doing what I love to do. In WWE, you don't really get a chance to sit back and enjoy the moment for too long.
Oh my God! Kane coming from out of nowhere!
I am going to eviscerate Daniel Bryan and send him to the depths of hell.
It was fitting that my first big title defense came against my former partner, Kane. Little did I know, it would also be my last. Shortly after my match with Kane, I found out I needed surgery. Years of physical matches had finally caught up to me. As much as I had fought against it, I was forced to give up my WWE title that I fought so hard to win.
When will I come back? I have no idea. But I think all of you know the answer to this question. Will I come back? Yes! 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 Yes!
To make things worse, what was supposed to be a 6 to 8 week recovery eventually turned into 8 months of physical rehab and training to regain strength. Finally, I returned to WWE in late 2014 and went on to win the Intercontinental title at WrestleMania.
With over 70,000 people chanting yes. What an emotional moment for Daniel Bryan.
It appeared I was getting my career back on track, until a few weeks later when I suffered another injury. Almost a year after I had to relinquish the WWE title, I was now back in the same position. This time, handing over the Intercontinental title.
The Intercontinental Championship deserves to be in this ring, and in this ring is where I'm going to leave it.
I thought this was just another setback in my WWE journey that I'd have to overcome, but it turned out to be much more serious than that. As I went through the process of trying to get cleared by various doctors, I decided that it was time to take a step back and face an unfortunate reality. My in-ring career was over. On February 8th, 2016, in my home state of Washington, I said goodbye to everything I worked for and dreamed of.
It is with a heavy heart and the utmost sadness that I officially announce my retirement. I have loved this in a way that I have never loved anything else. And for that, I'm grateful.
After my retirement, I had to step away from WWE for a while. I needed some space. Plus, my wife, Brie, and I were trying to start a family. But after some time went by and my emotional wounds had somewhat healed, I returned to WWE as the general manager of SmackDown Live.
In this show, it's about the amazing superstars and giving them the opportunities that they deserve.
I was having a blast as GM, but it wasn't quite the same. Whenever I see new guys that are really talented, I was like, ooh, imagine the match I could have with that guy. So with Brie's encouragement, I didn't give up fighting for my dreams. Having our daughter really made me feel like I needed to come back. I think it's a strong message to really say like, hey, there are some things that people are gonna tell you no, and you have to keep fighting for it if you really believe in yourself. So I think that's an important lesson to teach our baby. And selfishly also, I wanted Birdie to be able to see me wrestle.
Look at all those people watching. Hi, can you say hi? He's a shy little bird.
A little over 2 years after I said goodbye in Seattle, I got the amazing news that I was able to return.
You need to fight for your dreams. And if you fight for your dreams will fight for you!
Fortunately, I got quite the welcome back from a couple of old friends.
Oh, Kevin, no! The general manager's fighting back against Owens and Zayn.
I propose Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens face Shane McMahon and Daniel Bryan at Wrestlemania.
It was pretty surreal that I made my WrestleMania return in the same building where 4 years earlier I had the greatest night of my career. And in a lot of ways, this night meant even more. Since I've returned to the ring, everyone wants to know, what's next for Daniel Bryan? Well, I'm not even sure I know the answer to that question.
What a comeback story!
There are so many amazing superstars who I never got the chance to face before I retired. Finn Balor, Shinsuke Nakamura, Samoa Joe, Brock Lesnar, Kurt Angle, AJ Styles. The dream match possibilities are endless. If I've learned anything from my difficult road in WWE, it's not about the destination, it's about the journey. And no matter what obstacles life throws in front of you, you have to fight for your dreams. What would happen if Daniel Bryan faced Bryan Danielson?
This is pure competition, about to do battle.
Daniel Bryan's a little bit softer than Bryan Danielson.
It's not my fault!
And that comes from being in all these buildings where we have showers and trainers and tape available. Bryan Danielson on the independents didn't have any of that. Like, you just go out there, it's gritty, it's rough, and you have to have a certain amount of mental toughness. But Daniel Bryan is a lot more savvy, a more intelligent in-ring performer, knows when to do stuff, why he's doing it. So Daniel Bryan versus Bryan Danielson, it's kind of a toss-up. I'm gonna let you decide. Well, happy Earth Day, everybody. So if I weren't doing this, I would like to be a farmer.
I love looking out here and seeing the beauty of it all.
Yeah, I think it's a very rewarding experience to be out in the dirt with your hands and making food.